Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you guys here. So I have a question for you. Have you guys ever wondered how some people get to where they want to be in life and you're like, hey, I want to get to that place too, but you don't always know the steps on how to get there yourself? Well, let's roll that intro and we will get right into it. Alright, so you're probably wondering what the steps would be in order to get to where you want to be in life. And let me actually start off with a short story. So this was me basically learning these steps. At this time I was so confused about what I wanted to do in life that would actually make me happy. And I always, at this point, I always felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't smart enough. Everything that I thought that I knew that was right, which it wasn't necessarily not right, but it kind of turned out that I didn't know it. It's a little bit hard to explain, but not necessarily in a bad way, but everything that I thought I knew kind of got turned upside down in a good way though. At that time though, I was kind of lost and struggling and just really drained, really drained. It was honestly really tough, and my attitude wasn't at all the best. Although anyone that knows me knows that I have an attitude, but but my attitude at the time was more of this picture at the time was just more negative and more of a down and out kind of attitude. It's I cared, but I didn't because I was if things were always just gonna be that way, it's well, what's the point, right? And so yeah, I had times like that, but my normal attitude is even more a joking, sarcastic kind of attitude. Yeah, I hope that made sense. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling my best at that time. And one thing that I did know is that there is more to life. At that time I still had that drive to find what I wanted to do and to find the answers to other things in my life that were, well, also confusing me quite a lot. But I just always had this feeling, this drive of I wanted to basically find what makes me tick, what makes me happy. I wanted to get to that happy place and to find the answers that I needed in all the aspects of my life. I get that you may not always get all the answers, but if you get most of them, honestly for me, it's totally cool that I got most. And the ones that I didn't get, I'm okay. I can survive without them. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I was finally free from all that confusion and crap that was holding me down. I was getting away from that. In this picture, yeah, I was definitely confused, but I think at this picture though too, I was kind of starting, unfortunately it was the starting point of where I was figuring things out. I don't think at that point that I knew I was technically on the right path. It wasn't necessarily like I think at that time, like, I didn't want to have to go through all that shit. Like, that wasn't the outcome that I wanted. But it's funny, like, it's funny how life works sometimes, because, like, sometimes the outcome that you really, really, really wanted, you know, I mean, it could have been good, yes, but something better is there for you. And, like, I do feel like I'm still on that good journey, but I know I'm on the right path, because things like I said, like, aren't like as confusing now. I'm not as drained. I'm happier. I you know, I feel like I've definitely found what I want to do, which is funny because I went through so many things. Like, I've been to school, like, gosh, I don't even know how many times. It's been a lot, but none of them, you know, stuck out to me. Like, nothing was like, oh yeah, I totally like this, I can totally do this, I totally want to do it, like, it makes me so happy. Nothing stuck out until now, and it's really nice. It's just kind of like, at least for me, kind of like a calming effect. But you know what, though? Don't get me wrong, it was a shit ton of work to even get to this point. But it's absolutely worth it. Like, no, I'm not at my, I guess you could say, end goal, but really, I don't necessarily want, like, an end goal. Like, you know, like, I want to definitely get to where I want to be, like, my goal. But once I hit that goal, I want to continue. It's not like I just stop once I hit that goal, right? But yeah, that was a really hard time in my life for just different reasons and stuff. Just mostly confusion. But now, if you look at this picture, it's much more happier. It's like I'm moving, well, yeah, I'm moving in the right direction that I was always looking for. And, like, you know, it's kind of like a starting of the payoff of all the trial and errors that I had to go through in order to get here. And I hate trial and error, I really do, because, like, I'd rather just, like, not go through all of those errors to get to there, because I don't know, it's just, I don't know if draining is the right word, but, like, I just hate it. But like I said, you know, it was worth it. I know that we have to go through them sometimes to get to the point that we want to be in. So, you know, I am grateful for that. But yeah, like I said, like, I'm nowhere near, like, perfect or, like, to where I, like, my end goal. But it's definitely a very, very good start. I'm so happy and grateful for it. You know, you know, but, like I said, I'm not perfect, not ever trying to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I just, like, honestly want to continue just doing my best and growing, like, honest to God. But, like, where I am now is much less confusing, less draining, and much more happier. I have clearer goals, and just, like, more clarity on, like, literally everything, like, honestly. So, like, my point with all of this is it all takes time and work, like, to get to where you want to go, where you want to be. And yeah, like, you have to put in that work. You have to put in the trial and error, you know, as much, like, if you hate it just as much as I do, sometimes it's hard, it's tough. Like, I'll be completely blunt and honest, like, it gets hard sometimes. But honestly, after that's all done and you learn from it and you grow, it is so absolute freaking, like, just abso-freaking-lutely worth it. Like, how you feel is just amazing once you get through all, like, the adversity, or most of the adversity, and you fight for what's right, and you keep pushing to get to where you want to be. Like, it's just, you know, it's worth it. It really is. And the steps today that I'm going to share with you guys, they aren't in like any order per se. I guess you could do it in this order, but you can also make it like your own, in your own order, and get rid of whatever works for you guys. But this is just what I did for myself to get to where I am. That worked for me. Yeah, just kind of whatever was best for myself. And yeah, just like I said, do what works best for you. And that's how you're going to have the best results and the most success. So, number one is analyze each situation that was confusing me and that, like, I needed to get answers from. And so what I mean by that is, like, I had, like, different things that were bothering me. Like, you know, everybody has something in their life that's, you know, going on, or that they're not too happy about, or, you know, that kind of thing. And so I had a few things that were confusing me, and that I hadn't had the answers for yet. And I'm somebody that really does need answers, because if I don't get them, then I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I analyzed everything, so that I guess that I would have the best chance at finding the answer, if that makes sense. And so that I'm less confused. And then the second one is I did a lot of research. So it kind of goes with the analyzing and everything one. And when I say research, like, I don't just mean like on the computer, which though on the computer it does help. I actually did do quite a bit of research on the computer, you know, searching on Google. But I also, like the next one says, I talked to friends and family. That one helped a lot. So that was kind of like part of my research, because, like, as you know, actually Robert has been on this channel as well with me, but him and I also have our own channel, or our channel as well, together. And actually I'll link it right here for you guys to check out. And we just kind of talk about, I guess, kind of like issues in the world and that kind of thing. But yeah, if you're into that, we put our own little spin on it and our thoughts. But yeah, I'll link it right here. And yeah, so if you want, you can go and check that out. But with friends and family, like, Robert has helped me immensely. So my point on talking to friends and family, like, obviously talk to them, like, talk to the friends and family that you trust, that will support you, that will actually give you good advice and care. Obviously don't go to the ones that are just like, forget about it, whatever, you know. Like, I just, personally for me, I don't care for that kind of advice. Like, I'm going to these people so that I can get, like, well, obviously advice, but a different kind of perspective on everything as well, so that you can figure it out. Because honestly, getting different perspectives actually does help you figure it out, because either you agree with their perspective or you don't, and either or helps you figure it out. And then the fourth one is going to therapy. Now, I know that there can be quite a stigma on, you know, therapy. But, you know, with the way that the world is now with mental health and everything, I think it's more than ever. It's more than important now. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, honestly, if you need it, just go. Like, it's something that I think is like I do think it's changing in the sense of like, you know, people would think, hey, it's weak to go and get help or to go to therapy or whatever. And I think that, I don't know, like the thought process or whatever is changing on that, changing slowly, but changing nonetheless. You know, therapy is really good. It does help. Again, I've been, and it's helped me every single time I go. But like, you have to have an open mind when you go. Like, you can't just go and be like, you know, whatever. Like, you actually have to put in an effort. Just how the therapist is helping you, you need to help yourself as well. You need to work with the therapist. But also, again, saying that too, you have to want to go. Like, you can't just like force yourself to go and then hope that it works. No, you actually have to put in a good effort when you go to therapy in order for it to help. Yeah, so I highly recommend therapy for sure. Then the fifth one is I questioned everything. Now, this one might only solely be for me. See, I question everything like from when I analyzed, did research, talked to friends and family, therapy, all of that. I put in the situation and then like all of that stuff, and I question it. And honestly, it's not a bad thing to question everything. It's literally just like thinking about everything and then like, you know, putting it together and seeing how it works and fits for you with your situation. And like when I would question everything, it wasn't like a full blown out like I don't know, map of everything. No, it was literally me just sitting and thinking is literally all it was. Like, I mean, honestly, if you want to do I don't know, like a map of things or write it out or whatever, go ahead, whatever works for you. But yeah, just for me, I literally sat and thought and just contemplated it all. And then I actually would go back and like talk to friends and family and my therapist at the time about everything too. So, you know, it is kind of a a good circle, I guess you could say. But yeah, so I did that. And then number 6 was I always wrote down my goals. So I'm very like goal oriented, and so I'm always writing down goals of like what I want or what I want to do or where I want to be and all this stuff. And it's always trying to up it from the last goal. Usually though, if I up it, it's because obviously like I've hit that goal. And some goals sometimes just take longer, you know, and for me, like, okay, I have like, I've grown in patience, which that is one on here. But it is hard. It's hard when you like write goals out and you still haven't hit it and you're like, oh my God. But it's always good to write your goals out and to kind of have a game plan to achieve them. And like sometimes it takes a little bit to come up with that game plan, but that's okay. Just have that goal there, and eventually as time goes on and you keep growing, you're gonna figure out a game plan for that goal and you're gonna achieve that goal. So yeah, that's kind of something I like to do. And then the next one, 7th one, is self-care, which is, I think, kind of pretty self-explanatory. But when I'm talking about self-care, it's it's not about being selfish, not at all. That's not actually what self-care means. Self-care is doing, yes, things for you, but not in a selfish manner. Like self-care can be like literally actually like talking to friends and family, going to therapy, but it can also be, yes, like having a bath or like, you know, having a spa day or like reading a book, watching your favorite show, You know, it could be literally sitting down and writing goals out. That could be your self-care. That could be something that you're like, oh, that calms me down, makes me feel better, whatever, you know, whatever relaxes you, clears your mind, helps you just to, I guess, think more clearly, you know, that makes you feel good, that brings you back to sanity. um, but yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's not at all about being selfish. And I feel like a lot of people have or think that self-care is about being selfish, and it's not. That's not what it is. Um, it's just about literally taking care of yourself, but you're not doing it at, like, I guess, somebody else's cost, if that makes sense. Like, you're not being like, you're just basically not being selfish is what you're doing. Like, you're not doing that. And then number 8 is having patience, like I talked about a little bit earlier here, which honestly, like, yeah, it can be extremely hard. Like, I did not have that good of patience, at least when I first started figuring everything out. And but now I have grown in that area again. I like, patience is not my strongest suit. It's just not. But I do have more than I did before, which is really, it's a really good thing, and it actually has helped me quite a bit, because just knowing and like, yeah, like knowing that, like, you know, things obviously things don't happen like instantly. Like, that's not how life works. And like, I knew that back then, and I still know that now, but I think I have more of an appreciation for patience now. But like, it's still difficult for me, but it has gotten better. So um number 9 is I like did things that made me happy and like focused on me and worked on me. Again, that's kind of like self-care, and it's not a selfish thing. It's literally just giving you some you time, and to like figure out your stuff, organize your stuff, make yourself feel good is basically what that is. And then number 10 is I just, at this point, I waited for the answers to come to me. And I guess that's kind of like literally having patience, because like, after you do everything that you possibly can, that's when you kind of just have to sit back and be like, okay, I did everything that I possibly could. Now it's time to wait for the answers to come to you. And they really will, once you just sit back and you're like, okay. Once you feel and you know that you've done everything that you possibly can, and you have no regrets, they'll come. The answers and everything will come. Number 11 is I followed my happiness and what feels right. So what I mean by that is like, basically what it says is like, anything that makes me feel happy and that is good and right, I do. I go for it. And you know what? I understand that sometimes those things aren't always the easiest. And I know that it's like obviously easier to go for the easy part, but sometimes, well, not even sometimes, all the time, the harder but right good way is gonna end up being the easy way anyway. Because once you put in that effort and that work, it does become easier. It's like when you put the hard work in first for anything, you do that, and you only have to do it like once, because then after that, all you do is you just have to maintain it. And like, honestly, that's easier than always having to constantly go back to like the hard work. It's like, but see, like, if you're only going for the easy route, well, you're always gonna end up back like where it's like, okay, that might be easy to do, but it doesn't fix the root issue, right? And it may move you to here, but it doesn't keep you there, and you can't maintain that. You can maintain hard work though. So like, once you put in that hard work and you like I guess like work on it and kind of fix it from the root, you are good to go. Like you just have to be willing and have that drive to just do that hard work from the root. And yes, okay, it's not always easy. It is usually difficult, but it's so worth it once you do it. And you only have to do it once. Then you just maintain. And that's when it's easy. That's why they say the harder way is the easier way, because you're just maintaining it after that, which then you don't have to go back ever to this part. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by that. And then the last one, number 12, is doing healthy things like eating healthier, exercise, which those are like things that like I'm still like working on, which is like totally fine. It's a good thing, but doing those things like honestly helps you and keeps everything like kind of clear. It's just kind of like a good extra boost, right? So if you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you feel good like internally, right? So, and then it all kind of all comes together, it all works together. So yeah, as long as like you are moving forward in a good, right, healthy way, like in every aspect of your life, then like honestly, like I say, you're like 100% on the right path. Alrighty guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like and share buttons down below, and hit that subscribe button for me right over here. It really helps my channel grow. And lastly, don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you never miss a new video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Remember, you are loved and appreciated. Bye.